This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. This is the TCSF podcast with Big Z. Episode 227 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago sports fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Get your official shirts now. And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or the X, on Twitch, hit that subscribe button. If you're on your favorite podcast app, remember to give us a 5-star review, drop some comments, or shoot us up on the charts. Really appreciate that. Doesn't cost you a thing. But if you do want to drop some coin on us, remember you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go over there and click on the support button. And you too can subscribe for as little as 99 cents a month. If you haven't done so, listen to the other shows in the 606 Media lineup. We got Intoxicated with Big Z. Podcast where we dive into guest life stories. Each episode features engaging discussions, interviews, and fascinating guests with a healthy dose of humor. You also can tune over to No Water on the Weekend with Steven and Sean, a pop culture forward podcast that dabbles in funny trivia, film, television, music, and Chicago-centric news and happenings. Again, you can also find us at 606media.com. You can find all of the audio shows, all of the video shows. You can click on there, and that could be your one-stop shop to get all your 606 media needs. So you can also buy your shirts from there. So you can also do all that stuff there. So without further delay, episode 227. We're calling this one Future Endeavors, or what are we calling this one? Future Plans. It's been a long day. But this week we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears loss to the Detroit Lions this past Sunday. We're going to talk about Caleb's growth and progression. We're going to talk about the coaching candidates that are out there. It's kind of heating up. And then we'll preview the next game, which is at home on Thursday versus the Seattle Supersonics. Yes, the Supersonics, the Seattle Seahawks, as they play at their last home game of the season. So without further ado, let's talk some Bears football in 3 and out. Let's hit that sounder, baby. Come on. I'm all over the place today. 3 and out. Here we go. Boom, baby, boom, explode this season already. The Chicago Bears are just losing every week, and they're finding ways to do it. But this was actually an interesting and fun game to watch. We didn't score in the first quarter. It was 13-0 at the end of the first quarter, but we did bounce back in the second quarter, putting up 2 touchdowns, matching what Detroit did. It was 27-14 at the half. Second half, it was lack of scoring. Usually the Bears are up on scoring on the second half, but we were only mustering up 3 points, and that's pretty much what cost us the game. This game that they were into, Detroit did put up some yards. Jared Goff in Detroit looked locked in from the start. Obviously, they were going to bounce back after losing the week prior. Goff threw for 336, 3 touchdowns. And you had Jamison Williams with a career high 143 yards receiving, 5 catches. You had an 82-yard touchdown. You had Jamar Gibbs, Sonic and Tails. You only had one of them. Jamar Gibbs ran for 109 yards and scored. This was, it looked like it was done early in the first quarter, but the Bears were able to put up a fight in the first half. It looked good. Caleb looked good. And then after that, it just like they did not show up for the second half. It was like 1, 2, 3 Cancun. It definitely felt like that. There's a lot of good stuff that we did see, that I did see. Caleb threw for 334, 2 touchdowns. He's had a couple of shaky performances in the last couple of weeks, but he looked comfortable today. He only got sacked once or twice. I'll correct myself in a second. But there's a lot of stuff that we can't see that's good for Caleb, right? Caleb, if we look at Caleb's numbers, Caleb's stats and facts, right? He is with his 334 this week against the Lions. He is one of 13 Bear quarterbacks to throw for at least 3,000 yards. You have Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman, Jim Harbaugh, Eric Kramer, Mitchell Trubisky, and Billy Wade. Out of those, let's see, Jay Cutler did it 5 times. Trubisky did it twice. Kramer did it twice. So he's going up there. He's doing very well for the lack of support he does on the offensive line, lack of support with coaching, lack of support with guys dropping balls and fumbling. He's doing well. Now he's not, everyone's out on Jaden Daniels over in Washington. He game-winning drive. It was a great game. Knocks out, took out Philadelphia in the last couple of seconds. But those are things that if your front office addresses your offensive line and gives you time, and you have a good coach and good stability and good GM and all that stuff, that's what's going to happen. So after 15 games, this is what Caleb's numbers are. He's 314 out of 505. That's a 62%. He's got 3,271 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, an 89.3 passer rating for the year. So at this pace, he's probably going to finish at 352, 572 with 3,707 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Not bad for a rookie year. Not bad for a rookie year, especially with all the injuries on the offensive line, the injuries on the defensive line, lack of consistency, all that stuff. So a couple of notes I do want to mention is, a Doomsday dropping or fumbling twice. Caleb fumbled once. Those things can happen on offense. I know they're both rookies, but that definitely cannot be happening on these games where they can be decided by 1 or 2 possessions. So that just cannot happen. And I expect more from him. And I'm pretty sure he does as well. So if we look at, I was going to pull up the stats right here. Total yards for the Lions, 475 versus 382 for the Bears. Passing yards, 329 to 323, pretty even there. Rushing yards, 146 to 59. Well, if you're playing from behind, they're not going to be running the ball much. Makes it a one-dimensional team. Will make it easier for them to pin their ears back and go after Caleb. First downs, 27 to 19. Third down efficiency, 7 for 12, 2 for 10. 20% in third down efficiency is just not going to cut it in the NFL. They were 3 for 4, 75% in fourth down. But if you're converting on third down, you don't need that fourth down efficiency. Total plays, 65 to 59, pretty even. Sacks allowed 2 to 1. Bears only allowed 2 sacks, which is very surprising, considering they had a bunch of backups in there. We did punt a couple times, 3 times to 1. We lost 2 fumbles and no interceptions thrown. Time possessions, 31 to 28, pretty even there. Again, we talked about player stats. Jeremy Gibbs, rushing 109. Jameson Williams, 143. I mean, that's just, you're getting gashed. On the Bear side, Caleb Williams rushed 34 yards himself. Swift for 20. 9 attempts for 20 yards. Swift, where are you? Roshan Johnson, I'm not understanding how he's not being used more in the running game or even the passing game. Swing him out on a bootleg and dump it off there. Don't know what's going on with Roshan Johnson. Maybe he's still hurt. Have no idea how you draft someone and not be able to use them. Keenan Allen was clutch this game with 9 receptions for 141 yards and a touchdown. Odunze 4 for 77. You had DJ Moore with 7 receptions for 68 yards, Swift for 3 for 33, and Kokomet 2 for 9. Another he did have a touchdown, but another one that's not being used. I know he's been used in a blocking scheme a lot more, and that may be taken away from his receptions. But a tight end is a quarterback's best friend for him to dump it off, especially if DJ and Keenan Allen are covered and you can't get to Odunze for your third read, then Kokomet should be your dump off along with DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson. That's just not happening. That's just definitely not happening with the Bears for a team that should be doing a lot better. Ron chiming in. Thanks for chiming in, Ron. Caleb Williams is the truth. The Bears need to invest in an offensive line that can dominate the line of scrimmage, pass protect, run protect. Yeah, this is exactly what the Bears need to do this offseason. If you need to trade down from wherever you're at and collect more picks, so that way you have more options to address the offensive line. Like every pick that you have in this draft should be an offensive line. Every dollar that you're coming up with should be spent on the offensive and defensive line for free agency. We don't have, and I don't want to put Caleb in this category. So take Caleb out of the equation, but we don't have any, superstars that take over the game. You just don't. There's no one on the team that they're scared of on offense or on defense. Sweat hasn't really performed this year. What might be from injuries, getting spiked in the leg, or whatever it was. There's really no one. There's no one. You don't hear people's names coming out from speaking about the Bears. You just don't hear that. So where are superstars? Where are you drafting? Potential superstars to be superstars. The last couple of drafts, we haven't done that aside for Caleb, and that was a no-brainer, right? You had your choice of quarterback, and it could have been Caleb Williams or McDaniels or Daniels over there in Washington. Either one would have been great. Either one I think is a great talent. So thanks, Ron, for chiming in. Really appreciate that. On defense, oh boy, no takeaways on defense. He one sack. I mean, it was bare minimum on defense, and I don't know what's going on with the defense. Where maybe they're checked out from being on the field for so long. Stevenson, don't know what's going on with that dude. Byard missed a couple tackles. Owens came up with a nice sack, or assisted sack, whatever you want to call it. Walker, Pickens, Sweat. Just I don't feel like these guys are showing up anymore. And I'm not trying to question their manhood or their ability to play, but where's the defense that shut down teams for under 30 points? What happened to that team? And that's what we're looking for. We need those guys, and they're just not there anymore. Tyler Scott, three returns for 72 yards. Okay, clean. He didn't fumble the ball. You got us some yards. We'll definitely take that. Blackwell had 1 for 9. Okay. Santos 1 for 1 from 30 yards. I still think we also, and I know JC mentioned this in other shows, we also need to upgrade our kicking. We need a kicker that can not only kick at Soldier Field, but be able to kick more than 50 yards. You're going to need it. You never know when you need to kick a deep kick, a long kick, and you need somebody who has a strong leg. And Santos has a low projection for his kicks, and their tendency to get blocked. So that's something that we need to address as well. Torrey Taylor, while I think he's a really good player, especially for being a punter with three punts, 121 yards, averaging 40 yards, 2 inside the 20. It was an arrogant pick by picking him in the 4th round. You need to address the offensive line. And I know if you go check the archives, we've been talking about this over and over and over. So he's here now. Punter secured for how many years he signed. That's great. But again, offensive and defensive line needs to be addressed in order for us to continue to progress. This is a division that is stacked up and down between the Lions, Minnesota, the Packers. It's just stacked. It's just really stacked, and it's something that we're not going to be able to just half-ass it and get through it. The Lions are 13-2. The Vikings are 13-2. The Packers are 10-4, and we're over here 4-11. The offense has no identity, Ron. If they had superstars, then it would be a different narrative on the offense. And I completely agree with you. And I literally just mentioned it. We have nobody that they're scared of. You could have signed Derrick Henry. You could have signed Saquon Barkley. You could have got those people. Those are stars that, and while they are older stars, they wouldn't have cost you much. They're workhorses. Have you seen what their production has been in Philadelphia and also in Baltimore? You've seen what they've done. You can rely on them. They're pass catchers. They're blockers. Yeah, they do have injury history. Yeah, I understand they do. But at the same time, you're trying to win at this point, right? You can put a solid player on. And nothing against Swift. He's just not on their caliber. He's just not their caliber. At some point, they were talking about Derrick Henry for the MVP. That's kind of slowed down lately, but those would have been options where you would not have to worry about the running game, right? If you would have addressed the offensive line. Both of those teams have great offensive lines. So that might have been their initial caveat to sign somewhere, that they have a great offensive line. Whew, that is a lot. That is a lot. I mean, I know Bears fans are feeling it, because I know I am, especially watching these games. And it's not a waste of 3 hours, because everyone here in Chicago is a Bears fan. But at the same time, it's like, how are they going to let me down this week? How are they going to let me down? It's really sometimes hard to watch. And yeah, after the first quarter, it was very different. I feel like we need more. Yeah, yeah, the Hebron definitely need a more dominant running back. But we've signed him for 3 years and some good money. So I don't see them signing another running back or making that trade. I mean, you see polls making a trade after you sign him after 1 year? I mean, there's been a lot of changes, right? We fired our coach, our offensive coordinator. That might be something to do. I mean, he might be on his last year. I'm like, he's got one more year, and we're talking about, who are they going to hire as a coach? That's going to be coming up, but they're going to be on different timelines. If you hire a coach for 3 to 5 years and poses on his last leg, he's a lame duck. Are they going to extend him, or are they going to fire him at the end of the year? I mean, that's going to be a big thing. All right, let's pull up the coaching candidates. We're talking about Mike Vrabel. We're talking about Joe Brady from the Bills. We're talking about offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. They're going to interview Thomas Brown. I don't expect them to get it. But again, you're talking about, the Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is on the books as well. So they're going to be Brady. We talk about Ben Johnson as well. There's a lot of them that are going to be interviewed for this coach candidacy. And I'm pretty sure if you're one of those hot coaches, you're going to say, hey, what are we going to do with this offensive line, the defensive line? What is the projection for here? What are we trying to do? Because this kid is getting killed, and look at his numbers. Can you imagine what his numbers would have been if he had an offensive line and a more dominant running back? Yes, he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. We totally get that. We saw him drop the ball. He's done easy throws. He's done overthrows on those. Yes, I get that. But if he's throwing for 3,200 yards, can you imagine what it would have been if you had an offensive line? He's not getting sacked 58, 59 times a season. So expect that to be part of the coaching issue as when it comes for these guys that are coming in. Ben Johnson was asked about Caleb this week, and he said he's a really good player. That he really has done a deep dive on him, which I think he's being modest. Obviously, you're playing him that week. You're going to be doing a lot of homework on Caleb, so you're going to see a lot of tape. So him being modest and coy, that's just part of being an NFL coach and not trying to get in trouble or give anything away. But again, there's going to be candidates to come for this. Ryan chiming in again. Ryan Post has to make a better decision on a new head coach that can develop Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson is your choice. Okay, so I do like Ben Johnson. Very creative offensive coordinator. But again, and I know that everyone in the division has a newer coach. I would say the Packers have the least, the more tenured coach right now, but they're all offensive coordinator. I mean, young coordinators that came in and took over a program. The question is, can he lead a team? Can he command the room? Can he lead the team? Can he hold everyone accountable? Which is something that's not done at Hallis Hall. That is one of the biggest issues, holding everybody accountable, making sure that everyone is doing their job, pulling on the same side of the rope so that we can accomplish the same goal, which is win a game, and do that again the next week and the week after that and the week after that. We didn't see that. As soon as they came back from Europe, from playing overseas, this team just did not, different team. A different team came back. It's not the same team. The defense was dominant at that point. So I don't know what happened. So again, can Ben Johnson be the play caller, be the head coach, hold everybody accountable, be involved in all aspects of the game? It's a tough thing to do. It's a very tough thing to do. Would I be mad if they did and hired Ben Johnson? No, no. Everybody. That's what the NFL does, right? There's a hot coordinator. He didn't take a job last year. He's making sure that he can take his time and pick his time. But there's a ticking time limit on that. There's a limit on that, right? You can all be the hot chick so long. And right now he's being courted by every dude. So at this point, Ben Johnson is going to get a job, whether it's with Chicago or somewhere else. He's going to get his job, especially if they win the Super Bowl. He can literally write off, said, "Hey, I got my job. I got my kids my team a Super Bowl win. So I'm gonna do this somewhere else now with my own name on my back, right?" So that's what's gonna happen. Joe Brady, what he's done over there with Buffalo, very impressive. Very impressive. Mike Vrabel, he's a Chicago kind of coach. He's a tough coach. He's very straightforward, tough guy. Um, he's going to command the room. His defense is going to play well. It's really going to matter who's going to bring in for offense. Who's going to be his offensive coordinator? That's the big question. And what is his philosophy going to be on defense? Are we going to have to change our defense or not? Coordinator for the Lions, Aaron Glenn. You've seen what they did against the Bears. So, he's a very good coordinator. Don't know much about him except for that the Lions have had great defenses the last couple of years. So, look for the Lions to lose one, if not two, coordinators. Kingsbury, we've talked about it on the podcast in the past. He has a relationship with Caleb. I don't see this as something that's going to be viable. He did come and I think he was a coach at Arizona. Didn't do too well. Had to go back down. So they're going to interview him, and I think they might have done that before, but I don't see him being top three. So in my opinion, it'll be Mike Vrabel, and then Ben Johnson, and then Joe Brady, and I wouldn't be mad at either one of those three. It's just we need somebody that can take the reins and make sure everyone's held accountable. So let me know what you guys think. There's a lot of intrigue in the Cubs, in the Bears job vacancy. 4-11 is just unacceptable in Chicago. They haven't won a game on the road. They've lost 9 straight. 4-4 at home. 283 points scored. They've allowed 342 points. It's bad. It's just bad. It's just bad football. And at this point, we've been talking about who should be held accountable and all that. Well, you fire the coaches. It's time for these players to put up or shut up, right? At the end of the day, these players need to provide production. And if they can't provide production, they need to go. They need to go. Because right now, you can't blame Eberflus anymore. You can't blame Shane Waldron, right? The players wanted them gone. They're gone. So where's the production? It's just not there at the moment. So is there still a drive? Do you have the pride in playing or not? All right, let's see. I think we have one more topic on here. We'll do a preview of the Seahawks game. The Seahawks, we have last game. It'll be this Thursday. Seahawks at the Bears, 7:15. The Seahawks come in to the season. What am I looking at right here? American football. The Seahawks come in. Whoa. Why am I not seeing the Seahawks up on here? There we go. Thank you, computer. The Seahawks are in second place in the NFC West. They're 8-7, so they're trying to fight for a playoff spot. So they're not going to be laying down. You know, they're 5-1 away. They've lost 2 straight. So look for them to come out hungry and put it on the Chicago Bears. You're looking at this Thursday night again. Where's my thing at? Why am I so lost today? Here we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Just a little lost today. Oh, yeah. Seahawks. And you're looking at Geno Smith, DJ Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba as your offensive threats. I would look for Geno Smith to throw over 300 yards this coming Thursday. And I would say, your running back, Kenneth Walker III, to have a big game as well, because we have no run defense right now. They just run straight through us onside. Doesn't matter. We're just a turnstile like Great America. As far as, locking down one of these 3 receivers, they'll probably lock down 1, not 2, not 3. It's just not going to happen. So I expect a 35-21 score. If you guys agree with me, let me know. If you don't, that's all right. You can just send me a DM, send me a tweet or next, whatever you want to call it. You can do all that. But right now, I am going to take a quick break so I can catch my breath and drink a little bit of water. And we will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
What up? It's Martin Moreno, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with Big Z. Definitely, we were talking Bears. It's going to be a short edition of the podcast just because we're just going to talk about Bears. Let's see what Ron has to say here. We're all tired of seeing the Bears lose. We want to see a winning team. Definitely. This is the only team that galvanizes the city, right? The whole city is split. Cubs, White Sox, right? Some people are Bulls fans, some are not. Some people are Hawks fans, some people are not, right? If you're going to go see the Sky and support women's sports, that's great. Hey, I love seeing the girls play. I like having a good time over there, but they don't have a winning product. I haven't seen a Wolves game in my life yet. The Fire are just straight donkey trash. Just not worth seeing. So we're all tired of seeing the Bears lose. We want a winning team. If we look at the Patriots and their championships, and now Kansas City, expansion teams have more success than the Bears. You're dropping facts, bro. Just straight dropping facts. It's pathetic that we're the 3rd largest market in the United States. We should have winning culture in this city, but we don't. They're all about making money. The Cubs are about making money, not putting a winning product out there, right? That team is full regardless. The White Sox don't care. The ownership doesn't care. It's been on video and audio where he says you don't have to win championships every year. Just give them the hope. That's coming from the chairman. So I'm a White Sox fan. I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Bulls fan. I'm a Hawks fan. And it's just I'm in disbelief on how bad Chicago teams are doing. It's disgusting to have pride in wearing each one of those logos. I don't wear any Cub stuff, but I respect the Cubs. Respect Cub fans, most of them, as long as you know what you're talking about. But it's disgusting. It is very disgusting. This team should be competing for the division. and they're not. And right now, you got the Packers and the Saints. And it just looks so easy when you watch these other teams throw the ball and run the ball. There's so much space. And nothing for the Bears. It's like everything's like clustered and just bad. Just bad. It's definitely bad. Ron, thank you for chiming in. We're going to cut this one short. I just want to close out with what you're watching. And if you haven't been watching TV, well, I'm going to put you on a couple of shows. Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. Definitely a great watch. It's on Paramount. Great show. It's another Taylor Sheridan. I just watched the last episode and it was really, really good. And then Carry On, a new movie on Netflix. It was a nice little thriller. The main character reminds me of Robert Patrick from Terminator 2, the way he runs. So it was a good flick. I would not say great flick, but a good 90 minutes to get some popcorn and some snacks and put that on during the Christmas break. So I want to thank everybody for chiming in. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to all people that are watching on YouTube, on Twitch, and all that. Thank you for supporting us through 227 episodes. Thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. You know what to do when you go to gritclothingco.com. You can check us out on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on IG. We're everywhere. But if you have a topic you want to argue about, or you have a certain pot or food recommendation, hit us up at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, Ron, thank you for chiming in. Really appreciate you joining the show today. Hope you show up the next time we're on the air. I'll let you guys know if we do a Bears postgame on Thursday, or if we do a recap on Friday, and then we'll do another show on Monday. So thank you. And all right, everybody, I'm Big Z, and we'll see you next time for episode 228. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.